I hope you will listen and listen carefully. We're joined right now by Major Stephen Frederick Cook, U.S. Army Reserve, and his attorney, who's been on the show before, Orly Taitz, who is representing many, many people in many, many lawsuits in an effort to get Barack Obama to show his birth certificate. Major Cook has a story to tell. Major Cook, I believe you're with us first on the phone, correct, sir?
That is.
Well, thank you.
Good afternoon, Steve.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I want to walk the people through the progression of what happened here. You are in the U.S. Army Reserve. You were given orders to deploy to Afghanistan, and you refused to go. Tell us how and why.
The situation was I voluntarily put in for orders to go to Afghanistan, and as the time that deployment approached, I started thinking about the legality of me going there underneath this current individual who's of questionable legality and lawfulness of orders, and at which point I decided to file suit, temporary restraining order, to get him to provide documentation that he is in fact eligible to be president, the born citizen eligible to be president, and thereby be able to issue lawful orders as commander-in-chief.
Now, this all centers around the fact that that he has not presented his long-form proof of birth certificate, correct?
Correct.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay, and with that, I never really intended on not going, other than until such. Well, how should I say that? I always intended on going, but just not with under the auspices of lawful orders. And the whole point of this was to get him to produce a document, so then I could then go and feel that I was supported by Geneva Convention protections as well as UCMJ.
All right. And then was it much to your surprise, shortly thereafter, before the hearing, if I'm correct, the Army rescinded the order, correct?
Revoked the order.
Revoked the order, yeah.
Essentially the same thing. Yeah, I was pretty shocked, but upon reflection, no surprise there. It's just kind of covering for him so he doesn't have to, deal with it.
So this all they made it all go away by revoking the order, correct?
For this first round, they made it go away.
Okay, they made it go away, but then yesterday something terrible took place, and you have our heartfelt sympathies for this. The company for which you work, Simtech, a private company which is contracted by the Defense Security Services, which is an agency of the Department of Defense, but nonetheless it is a private company. Their CEO called you up, your boss, and what did he say?
Well, actually, it was a number of conversations that he and I had about my continued employment there or employability there, and then on the fourth phone call, I said, "No, I can't use you anymore because all the pressure that's been put on me by DSS, because you'll likely lose your clearance and you're thereby unemployable in any capacity, because without a clearance, I can't do the kind of work that we do. I won't go into that kind of work, but I wouldn't be able to do that."
So you lost your job yesterday?
I did. Actually, the day before.
Day before yesterday. So you're now unemployed, and this was a civilian job working for the Defense Security Services, a company that works for them or employed by them, which works.
Well,
for the
actually, the DSS is an arm of the government.
Yes, the Defense Department.
And DSS oversees security aspects of defense contractor.
Were you surprised that this happened then? You don't sound terribly surprised that this took place. Probably you thought maybe that that something would happen because of the line of work you're in, which you're not at liberty to disclose, and the clearance that you needed. Did you expect it?
Not really. I mean, all I'm doing is asking for a clarification on the legality of an order. That's all I am doing. And to pull my clearance for that, or at least the chatter that I hear from my buds back at back at SOCOM are, yeah, dude, your clearance is gone.
All right. Listen, I wish you the best of luck, and I thank you for talking to us. If you'd pass the phone now to Orly, we'll pick it up with her. Thank you very much, Major.
Thank you.
All right. Now we switch to Orly
Hi,
Taitz. Hi, Orly. How are you?
Okay, keep myself busy.
I know you keep yourself busy. I don't know how you do it. You're involved with so many cases. Let's focus on this case. Let's sum up.
Yeah.
You heard his end of the conversation. Anything he left out? Where does this case stand legally now? Or is it now going to focus on the loss of his civilian job? Is there still going to be? He alluded to round one. Is there going to be another round still being pressed by the major to make the president show his birth certificate, or is that what?
Well, Steve, knowing me, what do you think?
I suspect round two, yes.
Yeah, round two and round 20 and round 200 until there is a knockout.
Well, what's next for this particular case?
Okay, we'll refile in Florida. Basically, what the judge stated, that because there was a change in circumstances, originally we filed in Georgia because he was supposed to deploy from Fort Benning in Georgia. Since the Army revoked its own order and there is no deployment from Georgia, and he's a resident of the state of Florida, and his employer is in Florida, then what the judge is saying, the proper jurisdiction will be in Florida. So he recommended that we refile in Florida where he feels there will be a proper jurisdiction.
Okay, so that's this case with Major Stephen Frederick Cook. Now, we only have about 4 minutes. Now, people ask me all the time, what's the latest? What's the latest? Didn't the Supreme Court throw all this out? Blah, blah, blah. You're involved. Tell us, take the floor. Tell us what's going on with your cases. I know there's been some encouraging news as of late. I get your email. So tell the folks what's going on in the effort to get Barack Obama to show his papers.
Well, we had very encouraging news in California. As you know, I represent Ambassador Alan Keyes, and I filed 2 cases for him. We had a hearing in federal court in California, and the judge there, David O. Carter, who is a former Marine, stated, I feel this is a very important issue for the military to know who the commander-in-chief is and for the nation as a whole. He assured me, he said, if I to hear this case on the merits. He said there is jurisdiction here. There is no problem with jurisdiction. I already talked to the U.S. attorney. His name is David DeJude. He represents the government. And on the record, Mr. DeJude stated that there will be no extensions from the government. And the judge stated that he will not to the government. He said the case will not be dismissed on technicality, and he wants to hear this case on the merits.
Okay, so in California, this former military man who's a judge, what level court is this? Which court is this?
Top federal judge. It's the Central District of California.
Okay. So this case is going to go forward. Is this just Alan Keyes, the plaintiff in this case, or are there others attached?
As a matter of fact, I did an amended complaint, and there are a lot of members of the military. We've got Marines, we've got Army, Air Force, Lieutenant Colonels. It's a large group of plaintiffs. I have state representatives. I have former presidential and vice presidential candidates. It's a large group of plaintiffs, and the judge said on the record, if Obama proves his legitimacy, then he should stay in the White House. However, if you prove what you are alleging, then he should not be there. He should be removed from the White House, and that's coming from the federal judge.
All right.
What's
the timetable, Orly? What's the timetable for this case to start, to get underway? I guess you have depositions, whatever. When's it all start?
Okay. Well, first of all, part of the case, a request for production of documents under FOIA, and typically it's 30 days. So in 30 days, we'll have some responses. Then in 30 more days, in 60 days, we should get a full answer from the government. And after 60 days, we'll have depositions and interrogatories. So that's those will be the milestones: 30 days, 60 days, and then deposition.
And Obama's attorneys are going to be answering all this, correct?
Oh yes. We already served the government, the U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California. They assigned Assistant U.S. Attorney David DeJock. He is handling the case.
All right, Orly, I look forward to when this begins. We'll have you back. We'll have you back often once this case gets underway at all the landmarks, as you said, the 30-day, the 60-day. You'll tell us how it's progressing.